Does familiarity breed contempt? Hi, it's Sandy Wiley. And today I'm going to talk about being in close quarters with co-workers, with family. Does that cause problems? I'll give you an example. When I first got married, my in-laws were totally against, including my husband himself, me and my husband moving upstairs and living over my parents. They said it's never going to work out being that close, for my husband to be that close to his in-laws, and for me to be that close to my parents. They said it's only going to breed animosity. We're going to get in fights all the time, and and it didn't work out. That's the truth. As the landlord, my mother owned the house. She had the key to my apartment. I guess the landlord has, a key too. I don't know back then if that's, but anyway, she did when other people were living there as well. In case of an emergency, she had to get into the apartment. And I'll never forget, she was showing people around my apartment when I was at work, okay? And without my permission, because I didn't want them there. And I had this very special wedding gift from someone. It was my wedding invitation, and they put it, they framed it in all stained glass, my wedding invitation. And it really had very precious sentimental value to me. I hope I got a twig in my hair. And she broke that dusting, because before she showed off my apartment to family members, my father's family in particular, against my wishes, I did not, condone it. I did not say it was okay. She made sure everything looked pristine, and she dusted the whole place, and she knocked over that wedding gift and she broke it. And that really hurt me, because she shouldn't have been upstairs in the apartment to begin with. And it wouldn't have happened if she wasn't my landlord. It wouldn't have happened if I didn't move upstairs. If I listened to my in-laws and didn't live, close proximity on top of my parents. Also, like when I got home, like the pillows on the bed were rearranged and everything. I'm saying, why are the pillows in my bed, rearranged? My cousin's wife, who was a real witch, she rearranged the pillows on my bed. Can you believe that? When my mother was showing her around my apartment, she goes and rearranges the pillows on my bed, saying, oh, she didn't put her pillows right. They're not supposed to be like that. They're supposed to be like this. All right, so that really, we really got into huge fights, and it didn't work out. And just like when I was a preschool teacher, now, it was me and another woman who ran the preschool. Her name was Jill. She was 11 years older than me. Jill always asked me out, she wanted to be a good friend. And I never wanted to be friends with her, because she was my boss, and I worked with her all day in two very small rooms. And I was afraid that if we got close, that if we ever got in a fight, then it would be very hard to come to work. You know how you get in a fight with your friend, but then if your friend is your boss and you gotta go to work 5 days a week, what are you gonna do? If you get in a fight with your friend, you don't have to speak to your friend, or you could break up with your friend, or whatever have you. But if your friend is your boss, see, Jill was my boss, and and she really wanted to be good friends with me. She took me out for ice cream at my favorite place, Carvel Ice Cream, and she asked me to go clubbing with her. I did not want to be friends with Jill because she was my boss, for that same exact reason as living over my parents, because if something happened to the friendship, you see what I'm saying? I'm stuck because that's my job, that's my livelihood, So, office romances, there's another thing. When I worked at the office, someone told me, don't shit where you eat. And I never understood, what does that mean? Don't shit where you eat. So I looked that up, right? It means that don't get romantically involved with someone from work. Because if it don't work out, it's going to be very, very uncomfortable and very awkward. Because you work there, right? I mean, it's great while you're going out and you're with the person in a relationship. But if something goes wrong, then think of the heartbreak. You break up, you're still seeing the person at the office, then they carry on with someone else and have an affair with someone else, get involved with someone else, and then you have to have it rubbed in your face, and then everyone's gonna talk. You're gonna be the topic of, conversation. You're gonna be spread through and grinded through the rumor mill, and it's gonna hurt, because if you fell in love with someone at work, right, and you broke up, it's awkward enough that you're gonna run into that person at work, right? It's gonna make you feel very uncomfortable. But now get this, now you see them, kissing in the hallway, at lunch with another coworker. That's like rubbing salt in the wound. That's gonna break your heart even more. If you break up with your boyfriend, right, unless they live in the same neighborhood, or you share the same friends, you're not gonna know if they're involved with someone else. At least, even if you do know that they're involved with someone else, it's not going to be rubbed in your face. You're not going to be seeing it there like you do if you're working in the office with someone and you're seeing it all the time. You can't avoid it because you work together. You work in the same place. So this is what I'm trying to get at today in this video about getting close with people in these type of situations where it could backfire in your face if it doesn't work out. And it didn't work out with me living over my parents. I didn't get involved with anyone from work. Even as a girlfriend, even as a friendship, I completely stayed away from that, because it wasn't just a woman at work. She was also my boss, She was the director of the preschool program, and I worked under her. So, yeah, it wasn't just someone at work. She was my boss. But these situations are always precarious, because, like I said, it's great, to see your best friend every day at work, or your boyfriend at work, or if you're very close to your in-laws or your parents, they're just like upstairs or next door or something, like you can borrow whatever you want from them. It's really convenient when you have children because they can babysit, but look at the downside of that too. So a lot of people have warned me in the past, don't do it. Stay far away. Now, my son's 26 years old and he still lives at home. He's studying to be a doctor. He works full-time on a crisis hotline and goes to school for full-time. Right now, he's working on his master's before he goes on for his doctorate. He wants to do that first. Because he says if he gets his master's, he'll even make more money. And he has so much student debt. He went to a private university. Merrimack College is private. It's a private Catholic college in North Andover. We didn't have that kind of money. That tuition is big, big money. So he had to take out student loans. And now that he's graduated with 2 bachelor degrees, he has to pay back those student loans while still trying to go to school to become a doctor. So we let him live at home because, how can he afford to pay student loans off if he has his own, it's very expensive living in the city. Check out the rents in Boston. It's one of the most expensive places to live, Boston. Massachusetts, one of the most expensive places, but they have the best medical programs. They have the best hospitals and teaching hospitals in the country. But it's working out with me and my son. And we have a very tiny ranch house. My house is very, very small. It's only 2 bedrooms. That's it. We share a bathroom, and the bedrooms are like a tiny, tiny hallway across from each other. And I mean tiny, like literally. I could jump from the door of my bedroom to the door of his bedroom. I could jump and make it in his room. That's no space at all. But unlike my mother, I respect my son's privacy. Unlike my mother, I don't walk in his room. I knock on his door. I respect his boundaries. I respect his privacy. My mother just waltzed in and invited whoever up and, ended up breaking a very sentimental wedding gift. And my cousin's wife started, rearranging my furniture, I don't go in my son's room. I know plenty of parents who do. They go in their children's room. I do not. The only reason it works with my son living with us, especially in a tiny house too, is because I respect his boundaries. Now, I think if you respect someone's boundaries, it might be able to work. Close proximity to someone. But you really have to put effort into respecting the boundaries. Just like if I were to become friends with Jill, she's my boss, we would have to separate the friendship from the working relationship. It didn't happen, but we would have to really respect those boundaries. Because if we didn't, one could spill into the other. The friendship could spill into the work. We could be sitting there instead of working with, concentrating on the children. We could be sitting there and, shooting the breeze and talk, like friends do, right? And just neglect the job and not really take care of the children because, we're friends. We're just, that could spill over, or if you have an office romance, you really don't concentrate. You go in the hall and make out, or, you're really not concentrating too much if, you're dating someone there, and you see what I'm saying? It kind of spills, one relationship spills into the other relationship. Unless you really are differentiate that and hold those boundaries. It's all about boundaries. That's what I think. You need to have boundaries. I never grew up with boundaries, so my mother never gave me any personal space. I never had my own autonomy. I never had my own, like, this is mine, separate from yours. This is my space, which is separate from your space. Or this is my body, which is separate from your body. And I think that, yeah, you really need to have that. So let me know your thoughts about close proximity like that, either with, you know, friends, family, in a workplace, or like a living condition, like living in with your in-laws or living close to your in-laws, and if how your children, living with your children, how that works out for you or how it doesn't work out for you, you know. But like I said, you need to have and respect those boundaries and keep them clear, the relationships clear, and in order for them to work out. So that's it for today's video. I just want to thank everyone that I'm finally monetized. I'm a YouTuber. I'm a YouTube partner now, and I'm earning money on YouTube after 3.5 years. And I want to thank all my loyal subscribers who stayed with me, who haven't dropped out, and still make comments, and still watch my videos, and still give a thumbs up. Please, if you like it, give it a thumbs up. I know it has ads now. That might be a little frustrating, but that's the whole part of how I make money, how YouTube makes money. The only way to make money is through the ads. So watch some of those ads. All right, till next time, take care.